Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. The prospects for gold are great. Let's explore. What do I mean by prospects and gold? Usually when we see those two words together, we're talking about prospecting for gold, which is essentially searching for mineral deposits or a place where there is the potential to find gold. And we're going to be talking about that later in the video in that aspect, as this video is sponsored by Prospect Ridge Resources Corporation. But there's other factors that come into play as well. And what is the definition of prospects? Well, it's the possibility or likelihood of some future event occurring, or a person regarded as likely to succeed, or as a potential customer. Gold itself is very much regarded as likely to succeed, especially if you measure it through the course of history. Against different empires, epochs, generations, and cultures, gold has succeeded as a store of value and wealth preservation. And it will continue to do so, for sure. And that is something that we're going to talk about, given what's been going on in the economy, geopolitically, and geologically as well. When the Federal Reserve gets involved and they lower the interest rates or raising interest rates, well, typically that can be great for gold, really in both directions. Its price has gone up by an average of 30% in the previous 6 rate hike periods. And we know that they are going to probably be raising those rates soon. If not this year, perhaps next year, or beginning of 2023, the end of 2022. They're talking about it. They're angling towards it to try to have an effect on the economy. That's the Federal Reserve's role. But every time they get involved, whether with easy money policies, printing, quantitative easing, well, it tends to make things worse. And that is a problem. And inflation is expected to remain high in 2022. And we know that bodes well for gold, as it tends to perform quite well during times of economic instability, and that includes inflation. Although the timing of its performance may be discouraging to some, in the long run, it does stand the test of time. Gold tends to perform well during times of inflation as well as deflation. The next thing is as in geological nature, and that is that we have peak gold production. We have seen peaks in the past. In fact, there's been several peaks that have occurred just before wars. Certainly, we've been sort of in a state of war in Afghanistan for quite a while, but that's not really slowed down gold production that much. But nonetheless, we did see a peak last in 2018. And then, of course, the pandemic came along, and we may see another peak in 2024. But then analysts are saying that after that, in 2025 and 2026, ore grades will decline in that period of time, and operational costs will increase. In fact, we know fuel costs are already playing a pretty big role now. So that is something that is going to be very exciting if you're a mining company or a prospect in that regards to, with these little to no new discoveries, means that great drilling results will send gold stock soaring. And that's another way that people can literally invest in gold, because when we buy gold, we buy it either in collector coins, such as this coin that you see before you here, as a way to enjoy, but also preserve your wealth and have a little collectability to it. There's some prospects for gold in that regard, but even more importantly, we hold it as a store of value and beauty. And, we know physical stacking of gold coins or bars is certainly a great way to really just protect yourself against what is to come. And we know that what is to come is kind of scary down the pike, and especially with regards to our dollar, and not just the dollar here in the United States of America, but currencies all around the world. And so therefore, it is incumbent upon us to have the physical. But in obtaining the physical, and with global gold demand rising in many areas and aspects, that means that companies are trying their best to get more of it. That leads us to prospecting for gold in terms of us finding more of it, because it's in great demand. And this is where we're going to talk about Prospect Ridge Resources Corporation in their sponsor portion of the video, where they are all about strategic mineral exploration. They focus on the acquisition, exploration, and development of precious metal projects in North America. And they are currently working in 2 sites right now. That's the Holy Grail and the Galilee project. So it's very exciting to see what they're doing in those 2 sites. And the CEO and director of Prospect Ridge came out of retirement. This is Mike Iverson. And he has built 2 major highly successful companies in his career. And he is just a rock lover. Essentially, he just loves geology and gold and the like, and has done very well in his career. He believes this company is sitting atop one of the best deposits in the world. And so far, there's been some amazing results. The surveys, aerial work, and previous mining done in the area have brought back gold grades that boggle the mind. Literally, Prospect Ridge could be one of those once-in-a-lifetime stories. However, given what they have done already, which is quite extensive, utilizing a lot of the latest technology, this is still a very high risk, but also a potential high reward situation here for investors. Other successful companies in this same geological zone have been quite successful. They've developed projects into mines and made early shareholders a fortune. Now, there is drilling that's going to start very soon once the snow melts. They're going to start drilling in earnest, and the opportunity could be long gone if not acted upon quickly for those who are all about timing and getting in while the price is low for the stock before these results come back in. The whole idea is to wisely position before the rest of the world learns what's beneath the surface. A calculated risk is being taken that these geologists are quitting other roles and coming back from retirement because the rock samples they're holding in their hands got them really so happy that they can't wait to drill and publish the results. Because the land package is so massive, there could be multiple deposits, not just one. And nearly all the directors of the company own shares of Prospect Ridge Resources. And this is important because that means they've got skin in the game. Their own money going into this organization. To me, that says a lot about the prospects, literally and figuratively. Mike Iverson, who is the CEO, has personally, and through his entities and affiliates, owned a collection of 6 million shares. The president's family invested $1 million in the last private placement, and investors who have been with Mike Iverson for over 30 years and are now considered close friends of his own 10 million shares. There are investors that were with Mike when he built Fortuna Silver into one of the 15 largest silver companies in the world. So, as is the case, it's all about the management team around it, and it's about the prospects, literally and figuratively, of the company, not only their financial health, but also the geologic health and position and close in proximity to other resources in these areas. And that's really what it's about. They have a quite an impressive resume of other successes and of near the area in some of these past projects here around their 2 sites. So there you have it. As is always the case, when you look into a company like this, it's best to do your own due diligence, check out their investor presentation, There's contact information. You can ask them questions directly before investing. But this is something that is a way to be able to invest in gold for the discovery and prospects that gold could bring in cases like this, out of the ground. And that's really what it's about, in many different ways, to diversify your portfolio in some of these mining stocks. And Prospect Ridge Resource Corporation is an example of a company that is really strategizing to make this happen and to be successful. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.